Full disclosure, Vigo is now 16 weeks old. Today, I can't believe it. But the only dog that we've really allowed him to fully play with and have access to is his cousin, Mackie. The reason for this being that Vigo's not fully vaccinated, and Mackie's really the only dog that we know who we are 100% sure has all of his vaccinations. Now, when Vigo gets access to Mackie, he becomes an absolute menace. He loves to play with Mackie so much. We could be together for hours and Vigo will just keep going at Mackie for playtime. We actually have to keep separating them because I think Mackie gets exhausted from Vigo. And I think all the adults around the dogs get a little bit exhausted, constantly having to keep an eye out and making sure that the play looks playful and not like it's going in the wrong direction. And I say this to emphasize that Vigo does not need help learning how to play. Vigo is a puppy. He loves to play. And so while that playfulness is innate in him as a puppy, what we really want to be practicing with him is neutrality around dogs. Our objective with him is that we can take him anywhere, including areas with other dogs around, and for him to not take every dog that we see as an invitation to play. The reason for this being that I don't want to be, for example, making this up at a park, at a barbecue, and having Vigo barking at other dogs around us or pulling at the lead to go play with other dogs. I really want him to be able to just relax with other dogs around. Of course, I absolutely want him to be able to play and I want him to be a happy, fun-loving dog, but I want him to know that playtime comes with permission and that permission comes through us, myself and my husband. And it's even like today, I took Vigo for a very short walk. We've been practicing leash walking. And there was a dog across the street who was a little Cavalier King Charles, super cute, but the dog got super hyper fixated on Vigo. The dog started barking at him, started lunging at the throat, kind of trying to get to us. Not in an aggressive way, it was very much a playful way, but I thought, if that was a bigger dog, or even at that size of dog, I would imagine that must be quite frustrating if, for example, you're trying to do anything with your dog in a public space and the dog's constantly going for the dogs around it to play. There's a time and a place. I know many people will disagree with me. I have a good friend of mine, actually, who, before we got Vigo, and I shared with her, we want Vigo to be neutral around people and dogs. She was like, Liz, it's a puppy. There's no way that a puppy can be neutral and ignore other dogs. And I was like, okay, we'll see. And the truth is, I think in my experience it's possible, but it just takes work. Now, what I will say is that when it comes to Mackie, I'm hoping that he will become less excitable as he gets older. But I would say what Vigo's doing really well is seeing other dogs from a distance. But I'll cover that in a moment. So in terms of how we introduced Vigo and Mackie, we started them quite separate. I honestly don't think Vigo even saw Mackie. I wish that he had. I wish that I'd been more confident about my choice to say, okay, let's get them together and practice calm. We did start them separate and brought them closer together, but we then didn't have any structure around saying, okay, let's get them to lie down and let's get them to relax and let's reward them for relaxing. Again, I think I felt quite self-conscious, so we just kind of let them play with each other. Mackie played fetch, Vigo kind of jumped on him and bounced on him. And I think there's 100% an element that Vigo is 16 weeks old. He's a baby. At that time, he was even younger. So I try not to be too hard on myself because this is honestly one of the things that I'm most self-conscious about when it comes to Vigo is how he reacts with Mackie in particular. But I can't help but wonder maybe if we'd started from a place of rewarding them to relax together, or maybe even waiting until Vigo was a bit older and could walk on leash and got them to walk together, because that's something else that you're supposed to do when you're introducing two dogs is go on like a pack walk. I wonder if that would have made a difference. Whereas right now it just feels like Vigo sees Mackie as a vehicle through which to play and only through which to play. But I digress. That's what we did. Watch this space. The good news is that they're friendly towards each other. There doesn't seem to be any aggression or any kind of negativity. I think Mackie gets a little bit bemused with Vigo sometimes, but whenever we bring them together, he does seem excited to see Vigo. So I'm hoping that we're going in the right direction. It just takes Vigo a little bit of time to calm down on the puppy play obsession. One thing to note, which surprises people sometimes when I say this, is that we don't allow Vigo to have on-leash greetings. I don't want Vigo to ever expect when he's on a leash to meet another dog. When we're walking or when we're doing anything with his leash on, I want him to know this is not playtime. This is time for going potty or going for a walk. And the risk is, I'm not sure if you saw my video about the $1,000 with the man with a beard. But long story short, imagine if every time you saw a man with a beard, the man with the beard gave you $1,000. After a few times of this happening, you would get excited just seeing a man with a beard from a distance because you'd be thinking, yes, I'm getting paid. And this is, I think, what happens with puppies and a lot of things, including on-leash greetings. So when they have their leash on and the collar, they're pulling towards another dog. If you allow them to meet that dog, they're learning, okay, when I see another dog in the distance, it's playtime. And if I pull, I will be allowed to meet that dog. And so you're then setting yourself up in a position where every time they see a dog on leash, they're going to want to meet that dog. And that's one of the reasons why I don't do on-leash greetings. There's other reasons. I saw a horrific video that I can't find now of a puppy who met an older dog And I think they misread the body language, and the older dog bit the puppy on the ear, and then the owner tried to pick up the puppy and the ear was still in the mouth of the dog. And apparently the puppy then grew up to be aggressive, largely off the back of that experience. So there's a lot of layered reasons as to why I don't allow on-leash greetings. So if we see someone with a dog who comes up with a leash and they ask if they can meet, I always say no. If we see a dog who is not expecting an on-leash greeting, maybe they're crossing the road across from us, I am trying to let Vigo feel out what he wants to do as long as he is relaxed. So right now he does a lot of sitting down and just watching, which I'm so proud of, that at 4 months today, so younger than 4 months, he can see two dogs playing and just sit and watch. Practicing that neutrality is something that we spend a lot of time on, and it looks really boring, but I think it's doing something, I really do. And I want to believe as well that while he seems to have like a foundational understanding of being calm, where he falls down is if someone makes eye contact with him, if someone talks to him or engages with him, he then gets excited. Whereas when someone's back is to us, or if they're just not paying attention to him, he does really well. So I'm hoping we can build up to having him maintain his composure even when someone is trying to engage with him. In terms of next steps and what we're trying to do, I am trying to get Vigo into an in-person dog training class. I'm not doing one of the big pet store classes, just so that he can practice being around other dogs and knowing that it's not playtime. Now, when I called up the company that we're considering, I said, look, I have a puppy. I don't really want to bring him somewhere where the focus is on play. I really want him to learn to relax and be calm around other dogs. I don't want him to see other dogs and assume it's playtime. And they said, you know what? We recommend that you join our adult class, our level 1 adult class. It sounds like it's going to be a great fit for you. So I think we're going to give a pass to the puppy classes, which focus heavily on play, because again, he doesn't need help learning how to play. He knows how to play. He needs help learning how to be relaxed with other dogs. So we're exploring potentially putting him in that adult class on level 1 of obedience, which would help him work up to the, is it called the Star Puppy Award? Whatever that thing is, we're working towards that. But I hope that helps. Honestly, I think my experience of introducing Vigo to Mackie, the proof will be in the pudding as to how well it worked. I think the win is that they get along. Maybe they get along too well in terms of Vigo being obsessed with Mackie. Anyway, I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions at all. Drop it in the comments. And if you want to follow along on our journey of hopefully raising a brilliant family pet with Vigo, make sure you give us a follow.